When the original Guild Wars launched in 2005, I remember seeing a lot of advertisements in magazines and online where the big marketing push was that, hey, this is an MMO that you can play without paying monthly, which is kind of hilarious in hindsight because now obviously there are basically two subscription MMOs that are any degree of successful. But anyway, yeah, this game was buy to play when it came out, and it kind of popularized that model. As far as I'm concerned, it was the first really big success where most of their money made after the release of the game was through expansion packs, which we'll see in a second. This is just the first thing you see after the create character. I've been wanting to play an MMO on this YouTube channel for a while. Initially it was Final Fantasy XI, but I realized that was way too unwieldy and just would be a lot to get through. And then it was going to be Star Wars The Old Republic, but then I kind of only played that game in short bursts, so I didn't think it would be a very fun, or it would be a very inconsistent recording process with that. And then I thought I would do Lord of the Rings Online, which I still might go back to, but Guild Wars, once I thought of it, just kind of clicked because I have played this game before. I played it not long after it came out, and I finished the base game, which is called Prophecies, which you'll see in a second, but I never touched the expansions. I have been playing a decent amount of Guild Wars 2 on and off since it came out, and I really would like to get into the lore of the Guild Wars universe, for lack of a better phrase there. So I thought, why not? I know this game has a lot of text too, and I love reading text, so I thought, let's do it. As soon as we choose a create character, you'll see we have an option for a PvP only character or a role-playing character. And basically a PvP only character would start at level 20, which is the level cap in this game. It's never been raised, which is pretty atypical of an MMO. A role-playing character, however, starts at level 1, and you have to level from 1 to 20. And I want to experience the story, and I'm not even sure how many people still play this game. I don't think it's that many, considering it's well over 10 years old at this point. But anyway, let's finally get off this screen and create a role-playing character. And this is the base game, Prophecies. Factions and Nightfall were the two expansions that launched after the game came out. If we go to Prophecies, you'll see the classes we can select are Warrior, a Ranger, Monk, Necromancer, Mesmer, and Elementalist. But if we were to go to the Factions character creation, we would see that we have access to those classes as well as the Assassin class and the Ritualist class. And if we went to Nightfall, you would see Assassin and Ritualist not there, and you'd see Paragon and Dervish. So if I wanted to play any of those four classes, I would have to start on that respective expansion, but I really want to go through Prophecies, and Factions and Nightfall are accessible from Prophecies characters. So we're just going to go with that. Now I've given a little bit of thought to what class I want to play. When I went through the game originally, you can dual class in this game, not dissimilar to Final Fantasy XI actually. I was a Elementalist Mesmer. Elementalist main class with a Mesmer subclass. But I think for this one specifically, I'm going to be going Ranger because I really would like a pet, and Ranger is the pet class in this game. So it does not have the best character creator you'll ever see in an MMO, and in fact, I thought I couldn't turn the character around, but I actually can. So let's try to make a character that does not look like a goober. I tend to take a long time on character creation, but I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. I like the feather, let's go with that. Let's see, for a face. This is the only hair with the only face option with facial hair. Let's go with lots of angular faces. Let's go with this one, and that's fine. And body scale, let's be a really tall ranger, and let's go with brown for our outfit. which of course will change later as we get new gear, but... Alright, character name, let's go with the classic. Or the not classic, geez, the one that makes the most sense, that would be the most obvious. And I would be very impressed if someone took this from me already. Okay. So we're loading into Ascalon City.
The last day dawns on the kingdom of Ascalon. It arrives with no fanfare, no tolling of alarms. Those who will remember will speak fondly of the warm morning breeze. People carry on with their daily lives, unaware that in a short while, everything they have ever known will come to an end.
Scribe? Yes, my lord. These Char are relentless, but we shall hold the wall at all costs. Yes, my lord. Take this message to Sir Titus. Go forth and recruit the strongest, the smartest. Bring to me the bravest in all of Ascalon. Find me the heroes who will lead our kingdom to glory. As you command, my king.
I'm actually glad we went with the Ascalon City outpost. I'm glad we went with the feather in the hair option, because we also have a feather to start with on our little armband there. So yeah, you can tell that this definitely is an MMO that came out in 2005, and I have been referring to this game as an MMO since in everything I've said up to this point, but for the longest time, around the time it came out when MMOs weren't a dying genre, I would always argue that this game was not an MMO for reasons that'll be really clear in a second, but I've since laxed my opinion on that. Excuse me, you're CallaDiver, aren't you? I think Sir Titus was looking for you. He said he had some good news for you, and in true MMO fashion, our reward is 100 experience and 10 gold. I like good news. And can we open up our map now? We can. So Guild Wars has a very good map too. Oh, I don't know if I explained my experience with this game so far. I dabbled in it off and on around the time it came out, but leading up to the launch of Guild Wars 2, they announced a system where your accomplishments in Guild Wars 1 would give you rewards in Guild Wars 2, and I was definitely planning on playing Guild Wars 2 at the time, so I ran through the base game of Guild Wars Prophecies, which is what we just started, but I didn't really pay any attention at all to the story, so that's my goal with this playthrough now. And I did say that already, but just to reiterate and clarify. There you are, my friend. I am glad you are here. I have news that I think you'll appreciate. I've been looking for you everywhere. The king has ordered a new offensive against the Char. This is your chance for glory and adventure, but you'll need to know more about your craft before going north of the wall. Tell you what, travel to the southwest gate, which will take you to Lakeside County. I'll have Artemis the Ranger waiting for you outside. She can show you a trick or two. Thank you, Sir Titus. I'm on my way. And let's take a few steps so I can illustrate why I like the Guild Wars 1 map system so much. Oh, okay, so it probably doesn't work in town, so I'll explain once we get out of the town then. And if I remember correctly, yeah, these are all players here. And I have player names turned off, but I think they're off by default. And considering how solo-friendly Guild Wars 1 is in general, I typically don't have them on. But yeah, these are all players seemingly just standing AFK, which is cool. Our goal is to go inside or outside the town, but there's a quest over here that I'd like to pick up from Namar, and it'll just give us a better chance to explore a little bit and become familiar with the city of Ascalon. Alas, I am behind on my rent, and my landlord Gelson has run out of patience with me. I fear I will be put out of my home. I'll understand if you'd rather not help a Crichton. Our nations were at war a long time, but I am not your enemy, and I could really use some assistance. My friend Miller Upton lives to the southwest. I know he'll help me if I can get a message to him. If you're going that way, could you tell him of my plight and 500 experience for this one? A divine symbol and energy +3. Certainly, how could I refuse? So, let's see, is L is our quest log. And you'll see that we need to follow the road southwest from town to Ashford, so that would involve us leaving the town, so it's good that we picked that one up. And once again, in MMO fashion, you'll see we have primary quests, which is the main story of the whatever expansion we're on, and Ascalon quest, which is just the quest line that would be in a side quest, for lack of a better term. Now, I don't think there's too much to find, but I did want to show one thing before we actually get started playing the game. If we run up these stairs, we'll find Prince Rurik, who seems like a pretty big deal. And he'll say, "Well met, young ranger. It's a glorious day to be alive, is it not? I know some might think these are dark times with the Char threatening us from the north, but Ascalon is the greatest nation in fair Tyria. We shall never fall before the Char. Never." And when a prince gives us a spirited speech, we just say, "I'll be on my way." And last thing, if you step out here, we can actually see the battle that was going on in the cutscene when we created our character. And you can also tell that it's an actual battle going on. Obviously enemies will just die and respawn infinitely, but you can see their health going down. Like this Char Stalker here, and the Ascalonian Guard as well. And yeah, I was hoping I could showcase this too. Even though this is just a scripted battle that repeats infinitely, we could also see enemy skills that were being used. So now with our very slow run speed, we'll be able to move on back and continue the game. You'll see we already have a decent amount from those quests that we turned in up to level 1. And so our goal now is that blue swirly up there. Seeing players stand still in an MMO is kind of eerie, always has been, although in a game without jumping it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, and you'll see now that we are in an explorable area called Lakeside County. When you adventure outside of town, you get your own private copy of the world to play with a friend. Simply form a party together before leaving town, and that is basically the only reason I ever considered it wasn't an MMO, because my first MMO was Star Wars Galaxies, which has the most persistent of game worlds. Even player housing was not instanced. So that was my definition of MMO that I lived and died by, but I do not feel as strongly about that anymore, so I would consider Guild Wars a MMO. When you select a quest in the quest log with a specific goal or destination, a green star will appear on your compass indicating its position. If the goal is not on the compass, a green arrow will indicate its general direction, which you can see right there near those red dots, which no doubt represent enemies. So I'm going to wait to talk to Gwen. Let's talk to Artemis the Ranger like our main quest asks us to. "You must be the aspiring ranger I was asked to meet. Alright then, let's get started. We'll begin by giving you some hands-on experience with your bow, but you should keep in mind that this profession requires a diverse skill set. As a ranger, you'll have an opportunity to learn how to set traps, gain an animal companion, and use nature rituals to alter the entire yes, it's good to be a ranger. A horde of scale down by the river road has been hunting human prey to feed to their queen. You must put an end to this. If you can get them to flee into the woods, they should lead you right to her. Eliminate the scale queen and report back to me. And you'll notice in addition to experience, we get a reward called Power Shot and Troll Unguent. I think that's how you pronounce that word, but I'm not sure. I won't let you down. So much unlike any other MMO that would come out after this, we actually begin our first combat without any skills at all. So here's the river scales that we were talking about, and I'm just going to left click once. And that will set my character to auto-attack that enemy. And all it takes is 2 auto-attacks at this point. We are early in the game, of course. And they drop some gold for us, which feels very Diablo-like, that the enemies drop stuff and you actually have to go up and click the item itself rather than clicking the body. Like other MMOs of the same era. I'm on an errand to Ascalon, try to catch me on the way home. So we'll see if that guy has a quest for us later. So I technically don't have to finish off all of the river scale, but I'm going to want to for the experience. And on that note, there's actually a optional thing that you can do in this. Oh, there's my backpack that just opened up automatically. Can I equip this as a ranger? Probably not in combat, I don't know why I just started that. The optional objective that I wanted to talk about. Oh, look, his friend is helping him. So this is the tutorial section of the game, and it's pretty long. We'll probably be here for at least an hour. If we were to get to level 20 through an extreme amount of grinding, we would get a reward, and I can't remember what it is. It might be a title that your character can wear. Also, things are not looking good for us. Hopefully we can kill this one without dying. It's looking like we can, and then we can take on the queen over there. Oh, this is not looking good. Ooh. Oh, okay, so I can say with confidence that this has never happened to me before in the beginning at this point. Quite embarrassing. Okay, we respond at that altar there. Does this character have any information? Many people believe that maintaining a resurrection shrine and seeing to it that people get a second chance at life is supposed to be an inspirational and ennobling experience. I'm not one of those people. What's on your mind? Okay. And also, I've been moving by just holding down left and right click on my mouse, but we can also just click on the ground where we want to go, and our character will automatically path there, so that seems better to me. Yeah, now we're getting a tutorial about our weapons. Let's see if we can equip this. Oh, we actually can. That's interesting. And you'll see when we equip it, the icon down here changes to F1, and I believe that's a pretty obvious indication that we'll be able to switch between multiple weapons at once, which is something that they carried over into the sequel as well. Even though the sequel is more of a traditional MMO. Although it does do things rather differently, but anyway. So now that we've got all this loot and we are full HP, let's take out the River Scale Queen. Because I don't know about you, but I really want my first real skill. A longsword. Can use that as well. I'm honestly wondering if maybe every class can use every weapon in this game. It doesn't really sound right, but it sounds both right and wrong at the same time. But that's probably just my bias that I've carried over from Guild Wars 2 into this, because I do not remember my time with Guild Wars 1 that well, unfortunately. Hello, Artemis, please give me a skill. Sir Titus was right, there is something special about you. She's very kindly not bringing up the fact that I died to 3 river scales. I have no doubt that you can be entrusted with a few skills. Use them wisely. Haverstan should be here in a moment if you desire further guidance. And let's see how much experience that'll give us. Pretty decent amount, I'm thinking. Such a beautiful day, what a shame to be at the city gates when the woods stretch out before us. And here is Haverstan, a very serious-looking man with no doubt a very serious plan. You're the ranger Sir Titus was telling me about, aren't you? Well, I imagine he's right that you've got potential, but potential won't save you from a char firestorm. Experience will. Well, we're starting to get that in droves, so I suggest you head southwest to Ashford and talk to Devona. She's bound to have a task or two for you. Thank you, I'll take your advice. And that's right, we have new skills now. So we got Power Shot, which is a bow attack that makes the target foe take 25 damage, and Troll Ungeon, which is a skill, 13 seconds, I believe that's the cooldown, which gives us +3 health regeneration. So that skill has an induction to it, which is a term that I carry over from Latro into everything, which just means, which is Lord of the Rings Online, which just means it has a cast time. So that'll be our go-to heal, and we actually have another quest from Lena the Healer as well, but let's talk to Gwen first. I left my flute by the river, but there are lots of scary monsters there now. I don't know what to do. Can you maybe go and kill them and bring my flute back? Sure, I can do that. So we have to find her. Whoa, okay, that's lag. Unfortunately, my internet is bad, and I've never played an online game before, so it's never been an issue, but we'll have to see. With all the dangers out in Lakeside, I can't believe the number of people who go running around by themselves. Why, I've already got my hands full resurrecting fallen soldiers without some novice ranger adding to the burden. Hey. Don't people know there are plenty of folks in Ascalon City who'd be perfectly happy to join them in their adventures? I'll tell you what, if you promise to do your adventuring with an ally, I'll gladly give you a signet that can resurrect fallen party members. Well, it sounds like a good idea. Is that quest to actually partner up with another player? Yeah, return to Ascalon City and form a party with another player. Well, I'm not gonna worry about that one. I'm sure we'll have to go back to Ascalon City at some point, so it'll be good to have. But let's go to the southwest now. And let's track Gwen's flute. Oh. Okay, so it's one of those. Actually, does it? Let me check. I was thinking that maybe it's a quest that doesn't let you... It doesn't tell you where it is, you just kind of have to figure it out for yourself, although I want to see if maybe I forgot to do something with her. Okay, I thought, okay, she has to follow me. Or maybe she doesn't, maybe she just follows me within a certain... Okay, it's just within a certain radius. I'm full of crap. So I'm gonna assume that it's not too far from here. And it'll give us an opportunity to use our power shot. Except for the fact that the scale actually haven't respawned, so... Let's take a look for the flute. Okay, so the thing I wanted to point out with the map was that once you enter a exploration area, which isn't a city, you get red dots that tell you every path that you've ever... It tracks your movement, which is really helpful in some of the more confusing maps, so that you won't get lost or retread places you haven't been to already, or you've already been to. Is that box over there? It may be. Hidden stash. That might just be a random series of items. Let's find out. A truncheon and a water staff. What is the truncheon? Is it just a club? Dark damage. Oh, it's like a staff. Okay. Well, I would like to keep with my starter bow, please, and thank you. There's the flute. Okay, so much like Diablo or some such, you can hold down Alt and you can see any text that's hidden. It will show you, so that's helpful. Okay, let's give Gwen her flute back, and we can then see if she has another quest for us, but something tells me, since it's the very beginning of the game, that she won't. But you never know, you always have to be careful in games like this. Thanks for finding my flute. Oh no, it's broken. Now I'm going to have to get a new one. Can I follow you? Yes, you may follow me, Gwen. Okay, but what is my quest objective now? Return to Ascalon City. Follow the road southwest from town. So where is that exactly? Okay, that's there. And where's the primary quest take us? The same location. Okay. So let's continue on that way then. And now she's actually following us past, so I guess we'll try to be careful with her. Can she elaborate any further? Okay, I'll wait here, or she's gonna follow us. Well, I would like to know what her goal is, but hopefully it's not to go back into Ascalon. Just hearing this song is very nostalgic for me. The soundtrack to this game is done by Jeremy Sewell, and it's just fantastic, really. And I also love how wide and open the areas feel, even if they may not actually be that open. There's another river scale. Let's take this flower. I think if we hit one, it'll queue up. No, okay, we have to start attacking and then we can do abilities. Nice power shot for 25 damage. Just wanted to make sure that Gwen was still with us, and we can just do it again, of course. Although it does cost us. Presumably this is the power stat. If we open up our character, can we see? Let's try hero. Nope, does not say, but it does tell us that we need 600 more experience, or a total of 2,000 in order to level up, so that's good to know. Okay, the left path is to Wizard's Folly and Regent Valley. Let's talk to Hamish the merchant. Of course we can buy things. That makes sense considering the fact that he's a merchant. I don't really want to get rid of these weapons, but I might as well because I don't really have anything to do. Or I probably won't end up using them just because I don't like them aesthetically. I might hang on to the longsword though. I don't think there's any point in having the Hunter's Ale, Air Wand, Truncheon will sell, Water Staff, Red Iris Flower, all actually... Oh, I don't know. Let's sell those too, why not? Crap. Oh, there's no buyback option either, that's rough. Jacobs is a collector looking for 3 baked husks. He can offer me one of the following items in exchange. Those Crichton boots look pretty good. They have a plus effect or a bonus effect if we were to get them. Plus 30 versus elemental damage. Interesting. Okay, so we'll have to be on the lookout for 3 baked husks. Well, we're kind of at a crossroads, so I think now might be a good time to end it, especially because we're right before a very picturesque little village, fantasy village here. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time in Ascalon. Well, that's the city, but I can't remember the name of the general area. It might also be Ascalon. Anyway, goodbye.